everyone, I'm Allie. Gather up all the materials that were just listed, and if you still need some, go ahead and look below the video in the description to shop with us online at PotomacBeads.com. So even if you're not a seed beader, you can still have a lot of fun with seed beads and with thread and needle. I'm actually using all the ends of my thread and needle. I always have a couple sitting around with a little bit of thread on, and that's what I'm going to use to create this nice mixed media project. We're going to be doing right angle weave, and you may not even realize it, as well as putting it together with some jump rings after we get going. I'm using Miyuki 6.0 seed beads in the Duracoat Galvanized Gold, and then just some 11.0s in a nice pink color, the Duracoat Opaque Carnation. We're going to be picking up and making these little beautiful right angle units and then hooking them together with jump rings. So simple, a great summer project. We're going to put on our thread and needle, a collection here, and repeat 4 times a 6.0 seed bead followed by an 11.0 seed bead. Change up the 11.0 for the 8, that's possible as well. So easy to do. The reason we're using 6.0 seed beads is because that allows us to put our jump ring in between. Once you have your 4 sets on there, you're just going to tie in a knot. Now to make that a little bit more secure, and I'm using a size 10 needle and some 0.006 green thread scrap. Honestly, you can use any size needle because you are just going through the 11.0 beads one time. I'm now going to get away from that knot and reinforce by going through just the gold beads. And that's going to pop those pink beads out a little bit. So I'm skipping over the pink beads from the original rotation and just going through those gold, trying to keep the thread towards the interior. Once you get back to that starting spot where the knot is, you're just going to, once again, tie that thread in together. This is a great idea also if you have a bunch of seed beads where you just have a couple left over. Great stash buster. I hardly ever use 6.0 seed beads, so when I pick them up, I always think, oh my goodness, they're so large. This is a great project for that. Separate out where your threads end, taking one to one side of the bead, one to the other. You can see I was able to pull the knot into the interior of that bead, and you're not even going to see it. From here, grab your thread burner or your scissors and just burn off that extra little thread that's there on the side and continue making. So we're just going to continue using up this nice thread end, adding in and doing these little right angle units. You don't even realize, if you're not a beader, that these are right angle units, but they're the building block for a lot of bead weaving projects. Again, using up even just this little tiny bit of thread, putting on my 6, 11, 6, 11, 6, 11, and so forth, tying that knot, and again, being really thrifty and using a bunch of these thread ends. You can do the same thing and make these little right angle units with other size beads as well. You're just focusing on the 6s if you want to attach to jump rings. So I'm going to go through here once again, just attaching to just the gold beads to reinforce the loops before tying the thread ends off and then moving on to my next one. You can do as many of these as you want to if you want to do a necklace, bracelet, pair of earrings, and get creative with how you're using your jump rings. So once again, I'm back to that start. I'm going to tie these 2 thread ends together, burn off the extras, and have fun creating. Once you have a bunch of the little right angle weave loops done here, you're going to pick up your jump ring, and I'm using a 6mm 18 gauge or 19 gauge ring. You can use anything as long as it's under a 16 will fit on through the 6.0s. And you're going to put one through one side of your 6.0, another one on another one of your 6.0s. Grab your ends there and just close them up nice and tight. Grab a second pair of pliers if you need to close them up and link them all together. It becomes that nice sweet little chain, great for summer as I build them and add them all together. So I'm just going to continue with opening up my jump rings, hooking them onto the next 6-0, and so forth and so on, creating this little cute like snake-like chain. Once you're done adding in all of your little right angle weave units there, at the end I just have 2 jump rings on my one side. On this other side I'll add a jump ring, add my lobster clasp, close up my jump ring, taking it past where it's supposed to go, making sure it's really closed, and finishing up my nice, super simple bracelet. Hooking it on, a nice sweet look, whether or not you do it as a necklace, as a bracelet, hang some down for earrings. It's just a fun kind of popcorn chain look with very little effort. Great way to use up some thread ends and to maybe use up some of those 6-0s that you haven't known what to do with. Thanks so much for joining me on this project. Remember that if you want to see more great projects, click to continue. You can also check below the video in the description to shop with us online. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet already so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Happy beading, everyone!